Lucy Kellaway joins us, the former Financial Times columnist, now a teacher and co-founder of Now Teach, a charity that encourages older professionals to become teachers. Hi, Lucy.
Hello.
What's interesting about what Reese has said here is we immediately understand what she's driving at. It's very, very clear, isn't it?
Yeah, it's completely clear, and up to a point, she's right. I never told my children to follow their dreams. Dreams are just that. They're dreams. And especially for kids, they're very unlikely to be based on anything. And, most of my students, if you ask them what their dreams are, they want to become an influencer. Well, heaven help us all. So, I think dreams are dangerous and should be steered clear of in the hard, real world of careers.
Yeah, but you can't train for failure, can you? So to take an example, if you go to see Springsteen do his Broadway show when he was doing it, he starts with this extraordinary thing where he says, it all changed when I turned on the TV and it was 1950 something. He doesn't even mention Elvis, but clearly what happened was he saw Elvis and thought, right, that's who I'm going to be. And he became that person.
Yes, but I think to argue from somebody who's been a sort of global star to all of us is very dangerous and sets most people up for failure. And I think that why Bruce Springsteen is so famous is because he's so unusual. Now, I'm not saying that nobody should ever set out strongly to do one thing and achieve it. Of course, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's not a great starting point for us all. Actually, what Ruth Witherspoon has suggested is that we search for our unique talent. I actually think that's almost as dodgy, if not more so. I mean, could you, Jeremy, have said what your unique talent was? Can you even say so now?
Oh, that's such a good question. I always love to write, and I do write a lot, and I love that. That's I guess an ability. Maybe I have, maybe not, but it's something I love. But weirdly, I'm probably not a good example of this because the sort of splash of colour for me when I was a kid was this little transistor radio with a battery in that ran out every 2 months, and I always said I want to be on it one day. So I'm a very bad example of this, and I also think compromising on your dreams can lead to total disaster. And I'm thinking here of the friend of mine who was told by everyone you can't be an actor because no one becomes an actor. He became a barrister, and at the age of 40 he suddenly said, this is ridiculous, I just want to be an actor. And ever since then he's been working as an extra in movies. You just basically see him at the side of the shot looking unhappy.
Well, I'm not sure that I even agree with that. I think that we mostly are talented at lots of things in the right circumstance. And one of the amazing things is that our working lives are so long. We can have a crack at being a barrister and an actor. And I mean, that's something that we've seen through Now Teach. So we've had 1,000 people or more than 1,000 people have become teachers later in life, not because they found their unique talent necessarily, but because they've done one thing and now want to do something else. Yeah. And isn't that something so fantastic to tell our children? You get lots of cracks at it.
Yeah. Again, I think I probably disagree with that as well, but it's not my job to agree or disagree. I just think you've got you've got one thing, you've got one bolt in the locker, and you've got to go for it, or you've spent the whole of your life wishing you'd tried, at least tried. But failure's not bad. You can fail and then start something new. We'd agree on that for sure. But where I think you're bang on is, I look at someone like Steffi Graf, who was put on a tennis court by her dad before she was 2, and therefore she's a world champion. Until you think that there must be loads of other girls, young women, put on tennis courts at 2 who didn't become champions and are now broken.
And disappointed their parents and their parents' dreams and all of that.
Exactly. So it is a tricky one. But I think it's great that Reese said it, isn't it? Because it does make us think. And in your charity, you are coming into contact with all these young people all the time. So you're seeing what their dreams are made of.
Yes, and more to the point, we are seeing the most troubling thing is nothing to do with dreams or talents. It's to do with a lack of knowledge. And it's so difficult for kids to know what they really want to do when, sure, they can see actors, they can see sports people. But I mean, you put in a very bad word for accountants.
I know, I feel so bad. I know.
And I hope you're going to put an apology to all accountants. But
well, actuaries not, but accountants, yes, I do. Actuaries cause most of the problems in the world, but no, accountants, I will.
We could argue about that too. But my point is that school kids don't know about the world of work. And one of the things that is most exciting about what we're doing is we're bringing people into schools who have had long careers, maybe as accountants and actuaries, but as lots and lots of different things. And they can really talk to kids and say, this is what a career in this in this field looks like. And I think that's terribly important because knowledge is so lacking.
And my crack about accountants, I should take back because it's just that's not my thing. But however, one of my closest friends was my accountant for a long time. He's passed away now, but he was the most wonderful guy, and I sort of loved the way his brain works. So he was just very different. And I wonder where you start when you think about a career is that you start. This goes completely counter to my Springsteen point. You don't start by watching Elvis or The X Factor. You start by saying, what is the jobs market doing? Where are the vacancies? Where can I get a worthwhile 30 years of work? Is it as basic as that?
Yes, it's absolutely as basic as that. It's about teaching kids that there are lots of jobs in coding, but equally teaching them about AI and try and make them really engage with where the skills are, where the skills gaps are, and where they're likely to be by the time they hit the job market. I think that having those very grown-up economic conversations with students is just so worthwhile and really, really helpful to them.
Well, fascinating to chat, Lucy. Thank you so much.